Another day that means another huge leak dump video of a ton of just random things with Pokemon Winds and Waves, which, man, we need another trailer for. I just need another trailer for this game so bad. But honestly, let's just hop right into it today. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications so you don't miss all Pokemon news, leaks, and updates. Alright, let's just hop right into it today. So, got a brand new tweet that just dropped saying Winds and Waves will introduce a tweaked turn battle based system. Based on the leaks, it will mostly be based on Legends Arceus with free roaming and multiple targets, but now has an area of effect attacks similar to Legends ZA. Note, things can actually change during development. Now, the reason why this is huge is because we've had just many different leaks and rumors about what the battle system could actually be. Is it going to be turn-based? Is it going to be more like Legends ZA? Or even kind of just like Legends Arceus? So, it seems like they're kind of doing a mix of everything in a way. In my opinion, I feel like they should keep the main, new generation games mostly turn-based with maybe like a little bit of a twist to it, because that's just how things go, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how things develop and change over time. I was a fan of the Legends ZA battle style, I was a fan of the Legend Arceus, and of course just the typical Pokemon turn-based battle style. I'm a fan of it all. I like having the diversity, and I like it being a little bit different every single game. And especially nowadays, since we have games like Pokemon Champions, where that is like a real battle simulator game, is probably going to be around for many years, like constant updates, new features, new Pokemon and stuff. What do you guys think about this though? What do you think the new battle system should actually be? Another big rumor to go over, that is another one from 4chan, and every time I talk about a 4chan post, I always have to reiterate this. I know 4chan is a very weird place. Definitely a lot of fake leaks on there, but there have been a lot of real leaks, like a lot of legit leaks that we saw for the starter Pokemon of Winds and Waves, and even stuff for Legends ZA back in the day. So 4chan does every now and then have some legit stuff to talk about, and I've seen a lot of people bring this one up. A lot of people are talking about this one specifically, so let's hop right into this one. So this claims that the overhaul of the weather system will have a bigger importance on the battles rather than the Majin gimmick, which is kind of connected. First, we're going to get a few new types of weather and terrain, so every type in the game will have some sort of interaction with at least one of them. For example, there will be a new terrain that is going to affect ghost and dark type Pokemon, which is kind of similar to what my theory was about this new battle evolution gimmick, in the sense that like every single type of Pokemon will have its own kind of unique reaction, I guess you could say, or interaction with the surrounding terrain. I think I'm getting that right. That does kind of make sense though, because the most confident leak that we've had is that it's going to be some sort of weather-based gimmick overall. Some of the old weather will get a new small update on how they work. This will help Castform, who's getting a little rework, think about how Rotom Fan works from Gen 5 onwards. With Castform, weather forms receiving stat boost, there will also be a new Pokemon that is basically Castform, but for terrains. Think of Stunfisk type Flatfish, but cuter. If that is real, that is awesome, because that would be yet another leak of another new Pokemon in the Pokedex. Because we have this post from Jordan, who has just kind of gathered all of the most accurate leaks out there for some of the new Winds and Waves Pokemon that we should be seeing. Now, what I mean by that specifically is Jordan is not just making this stuff up. These are like the most reputable, I guess you could say, leakers that have said all these things right here, just accumulated into one post, if that makes sense. So I'm really hoping that these become true, because all of these so far sound awesome. I am very excited to see the new Pokemon and the new Pokedex. I don't know, something in me, I've mentioned this before, but just I feel like it's going to be a good Pokedex. Like, there is something that makes me feel like this Pokedex is going to be crazy. Maybe it won't though. I'm hoping it's going to be like one of my favorite Pokedex of all time. Let me know in the comments though, what is your favorite Pokedex of all time? Man, that's a tough question. I actually don't know what I would pick. All I could say is I'm a big fan of Gen 1 through 5 overall, the Pokedex. Those 5 are probably my most favorite, if that makes sense. The Majin thing, the flow is connected to the flow of natural energy, giving Pokemon a second ability based on the type of Majin and the conditions of battle, weather plus the terrain. Some Pokemon are blessed and get a new form as well. Majins themselves are not Pokemon, but they have Mons that represent them. That is interesting to me, because that's not the first time we have kind of seen that exact same idea, where some Pokemon are going to get a new form, some will not receive a new form. And by new form, I mean, like, think about Mega Evolution. All Mega Evolutions actually do receive a brand new form, but there are also different battle gimmicks, like, I guess, Terastallization, where it's not a new form. So I guess with this new gimmick, maybe some Pokemon will not receive that new form, but some will. And definitely, I'm sure that the Pokemon that do receive that new form will probably be the fan favorites. But honestly, we are moving into a time with Pokemon where people are enjoying like competitive play more, so that could show that the Pokemon that will not receive these new forms might actually be some of the fan favorites. The box art legendaries gain secondary types based on their connections with one of the 6 Majin: Psychic, Ground, Rock, Fire, Ice, and Ghost. The Ghost type Majin is only available in post-game, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe we know like the different types of Majin or whatever it's going to be called based on the Terra leak. No, I'm not sure if it's actually going to be called Majin when the game is fully released. Like, this could be the code name for the Battle Evolution gimmick. That's just like the reference we all use. All the leakers, all the people that know about it, they kind of just call it the Majin. That's just what we know it as, if that makes sense. That would be very cool because I feel like you would have to really kind of think about the strategy behind the Pokemon you use, how you want to use them in battle. It's really going to be an interesting change of pace with competitive play of Pokemon, especially because the VGC obviously will be using Winds and Waves after the game has officially come out, so it's going to be really cool to watch that stuff. Apparently there's an Easter egg for a new poison type Pokemon that will debut in Winds and Waves that's hidden in plain sight in Corbo's office in ZA. Now, Easter eggs are not new for Game Freak. They constantly are putting things in Pokemon games that actually do come out to be true in the future. Things like the Ditto block from Scarlet and Violet. We eventually got a full game literally based on Ditto as a whole, so it's not unlike Pokemon and Game Freak kind of hide in little Easter eggs here and there to reference what they're going to do in the future. They have done this with Pokemon before, Pokemon games, and obviously once Winds and Waves does come out, we actually probably will be able to go back to Legends ZA or even like Scarlet and Violet, maybe even Sword and Shield potentially. I don't know, maybe not that far back, but we'll be able to go back to these games and see the surroundings, see the, the architecture, see some items or some decorations or whatever it may be, and right away just be able to say, yo, that was in Winds and Waves. Like, that's a straight up teaser and a hint at Winds and Waves, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. I mentioned this a lot, but Nemona's house has been full of a bunch of Easter eggs. Everything in her house that was an Easter egg has pretty much come out except the picture with the 2 Eevees. That's why we all think we're going to get maybe 2 evolutions in this game. Like, it is very possible. The Brout Final Evolution has Delmize's ability as an hidden ability hint, Mega Skarmory. Could Brout's Final Evolution be based on a Cassowary, which we've heard that a lot too. We've heard a lot of people think it's going to be based on a Cassowary. Brout's Final Evolution might be a Grass and a Steel type, which would be really cool. I've heard rumors that it's going to be based on like a Windmill overall, like in its final stage evolution, which would low-key make sense because we literally have like a Ginormous Windmill shot in the trailer, so that would kind of be a pretty cool reference to look back on to see if it actually is going to be based on that. But man, the starter Pokemon I feel like are going to be awesome. I really do feel like the starter Pokemon for this game could be very cool, very much so peak, as some may say. And like I said, with 4chan, I don't always talk about 4chan posts. I rarely do, and sometimes if I do, it's just kind of like a fun thing to just talk about. I try to stay away from them because there are hundreds that drop every single month, and most of them are certainly fake. But like I said, not every single 4chan leak is always just immediately fake because it's from 4chan. This one all sounds reasonable. It all sounds very reasonable. Nothing is like too incredibly off on this list, if that makes sense. CenturyLeak's also saying that the strong agile system won't be in Generation 10. That's kind of obvious, but I figured I'd bring that up because I don't think we're ever going to see that again in any Pokemon games. I have a leak about Pokemon Unite that I actually forgot to talk about, so most of you guys may or may not have actually seen this by now, but these are going to be the next 2 Mon plus Anniversary lineup right here, which is really cool. So the new Pokemon for Unite have been leaked. Let me know if you guys play Unite still. I have not played it in a long time. It was really fun when it first came out for me. I honestly just haven't really had the desire to play it much recently. What's your favorite Pokemon out of these right here? Let me know. There's also apparently a Pokemon airport opening up in Japan, and I guess it's a limited time thing from July 7th to September 30th of 2029, so it's limited but not super limited. In my opinion, this should be permanent. This should totally be permanent. Also, a big post from Soul Silver Art that I kind of want to talk about in a future video specifically, but I'm going to bring this up in this video because Centro is claiming that Seed is actually being developed in-house by Game Freak, and it's not a Pokemon Works project, which is good news in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people would also agree with that. And Seed is the MMO. That's the Pokemon MMO game that we will be hopefully still getting because they are still working on it. We've had recent leaks from reputable sources saying that they're still working on this game. It also apparently will be a 3D game, which makes sense. I was hoping it kind of would be like the 2D kind of sprite game, but I don't know if Pokemon's ever going to do that again. But honestly, as long as it looks good and it's a very fun game with really good storylines, I'm okay with that because the MMO is going to be basically all of the Japanese-based Pokemon regions in one game. So it's gonna be a pretty big game, and obviously an MMO, it needs to last a long time. you know, years and years of updates, new content and stuff like that. I would say that's pretty good news though for the MMO game. I hope it gets all the love and care that it really does deserve. Anyway, let me know what stood out to you in this video. If you guys are real and watching this far in the video, comment down below Rhino. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.